All right, so this is going to be the SAT College Board Practice Test number 5. So let's get started with section 3. Here we go, number 1. Which of the following is an equation of a line? Well, shit is a linear equation with a y-intercept of 1. And slope is rise over run, so 1 over 1. And the only thing that matches is choice D, slope of 1, y-intercept 1. Number 2, circle, circumference 36. The minor arc AC, if you guys look at it, that's just freaking a fourth of a pizza. So take a fourth of that 36 and that's a 9. Next, number 3. What are the solutions to quadratic? First of all, divide by 4s on all of it. Take all the 4s out because who the fuck cares about the right side? It's just going to be 0 anyway. X squared minus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. You can factor this shit into x minus 3, x plus 1. And therefore, x is equal to 3 and x is equal to negative 1. So that's going to be 3 and negative 1, which is answer choice B. Number 4, which of the following is an example of a function whose graph has no x-intercept? So let's see. Well, it shouldn't cross the x-axis, so let's take a look. D, a cubic polynomial with at least one real 0. That just means the fact that it's got a 0, well, 0 means it's going to go through the freaking x-axis. That's a no-no, because we want no x-intercept. C, a quadratic function with no real 0. So quadratic, but it ain't got no zeros. How does that look? Perhaps something like this, right? Just sitting up there, right? So smiley face, so it's not going to cross the x-axis. If it was a sad face, it would cross it, but because it's a smiley face, probably not going to go through it. That could kind of work, so maybe keep that one. Choice B, quadratic with real zeros. Yeah, that just means it's going to fucking go through that x-axis, so that does have it, so that's no-no. And A linear function whose rate of change is not 0, aka there's some slope. It could be positive or it could be negative. Whichever one it is, it's going to go through the x-axis either way. I mean, if the slope was 0, so shit's like straight line like this, okay, fine. It probably won't cross anywhere here on the x-axis. But because it says the rate of change, aka the slope, is not 0, it has to be tilted whichever fucking way, and it will go through the x-axis at some point. So that will have an x-intercept, so that's a no-no. It's probably C. A quadratic with no real zeros. Once again, how does that look? It's just like freaking floating up there. Could be the other way around, right? Like you could have a sad face down here, and then the vertex is like down there, and then it's opening downward, so it's not going to cross the x-axis. Whichever way. Excuse me. Number 5. Oh. In the equation above, k is constant. Cool story. X is 9. What is the value of k? So, x is 9. Add 9 on both sides. Square root of k plus 2 is equal to 9. Square the shit out of both sides. K plus 2 is equal to 81. Subtract 2 on both sides. K is equal to 79. Boom. Number 6. Which of the following is equivalent to the sum? So add these two. Okay. A squared minus 1. And then a plus 1. You can't add the freaking a's because one's a square, one's not. And negative 1 plus 1, they just cancel. So that would just be a squared plus a. Answer choice A. Next, number 7. Jackie has 2 summer jobs. Cool story, bro. She works as a tutor, $12 an hour. Lifeguard, $9.50 an hour. Okay. She can work no more than 20 hours per week. Stop it. So something about 20 or less. So if you guys take a look at it, well, starting from the bottom, that's got a wrong sign. It should be towards the 20. That's okay. That's okay. And that's wrong again. And then she wants to make at least 220 a week. Okay, so 220, if not more. That should be the sign. So C's got it, but B's got it the other way around. So B's off, C is it. So you really don't have to read these jack shit for the rest of the half of the questions. Still get the right answer. All right, number 8. In air, the speed of sound, whatever, linear. Okay, cool story, linear. So what's the interpretation of that? That's called a y-intercept. That's the initial value. Something about where the t is equal to 0, the initial, the starting value, whatever the fuck they want. Increase, that's talking something about slope, so that's out. Speed of the sound at 0.6, at 0 it is. It's called the y-intercept, aka the x should be 0. In this case, the t should be 0. Number 9, if xy is a solution and x is greater than 0, what is the value of xy? Okay, so first of all, put that shit right there in the place of y, because y is equal to x squared. So 2x squared plus 6 is equal to 2. If you distribute that shit, 2x plus 6. Go ahead and subtract 6 on both sides. Get this shit out of the way. 2x squared is equal to 2x. You can just go ahead and divide by 2's on both sides. And you can divide by x on both sides. And you literally get x is equal to 1. But that's not the answer. They want the xy. So I need the y too. Put the shit back in. And then y is equal to 1 squared. So that'll be y is equal to 1. So y is equal to 1. X is equal to 1. If you multiply those two, that's just going to be 1. All right, number 10. A squared plus, okay, cool story. AB is Y. What is this one? If you guys take a look at it, you can just replace that Z with the A squared plus B squared. And then plus 8 and the Y with the AB. So that's just going to be 4A squared plus 4B squared plus 8AB. And if you put it into that form where, you know, the type of form that you would expect to see when you FOIL some shit, that'll be 4A squared plus 8AB plus 4B squared. And if you're trying to figure out where the hell that came from, well, first of all, if you first look at this 4A squared, well, given that all the answer choices got something square, so the two factors would have to be the same. 4A squared, well, that'll be 2A and 2A. And then for the 4B squared, that would have to be 2B and 2B. And if you look at it, well, the sign must be a plus and a plus because they both have plus. And if you look at it, the answer choice must be B. All right, number 11, the volume of the right circular cylinder. 22, cool story. What is the volume in cubic centimeters of right circular cylinder with twice the radius and half the height? So if you guys think about the idea of the volume of a cylinder, well, the front of the packet tells you that it's pi r squared h, and that's what the volume is. So if you take a look at what happened, well, first of all, let's apply some shit. Well, the pi stays the same as is, but what did they say about the radius? They said twice the radius. So instead of r squared, I'm gonna have to say 2r squared, right? Because the radius is double, right? And then what did they say about the height? Height is half the height. So instead of h, I'll have to put 1/2 h, right? So if you really work this shit out, that'll be pi 4r squared and then 1/2 h. So just cancel one of that. So that'll just be 2 pi r squared h. So if you compare that to the original, the new stuff that you got is this 2, aka the new volume better be twice the volume of the original. The original volume was 22, so twice of that should be a 44. Number 12, which of the following is equivalent to, let me erase this, 9 to the 3/4 power? Okay, so first of all, I want you to understand that when they say that shit, well, it's out of 4, so it's out of the 4th root, and that's 9 to the 3 power inside. The only problem is we don't fucking see that in the answer choices. So clearly this is not going to do. So the way you are supposed to do it is change that 9 into a 3 squared. So what I mean by that is you can grab that 9 and then rewrite that shit as 3 squared. And then you keep that same 3 to the 4th power outside. Multiply that shit so you can cancel the 2's. So that would become 3 to the 3 over 2 power. So that would be equivalent to, out of the square root, you have 3 to the 3 inside. So that'll be square root of 3 times 3 times 3. I'm going to take that shit out, and that'll be 3 radical 3, making it answer choice D. All right, number 13, at a restaurant, n cups of tea, blah, blah, blah. So this is the linear equation. How many additional tea bags are needed to make each additional cup of tea? Something about the additional, what does that, what tells you something about how many additional for how many whatever? Well, that's what the slope is for, right? If you look at these, the equation right here, the slope is 1, so it should just be 1. Number 14. Function, whatever. So what's gonna happen when you freaking flip that shit, right? So first of all, if you apply the negative to the entire function, you're supposed to grab that fucking graph and just flip it over the x-axis. Well, if you remember that from all those pre-calculation shit, good for you. But if you don't, then that's totally cool. What you could have done is this. If you just apply the negative to the whole thing, well, let's try that, negative to the whole thing. So then you get negative f of x should equal negative 2 to the x. And then when you distribute that shit, minus 1, right? So that's what you should be looking at. So what you could do when you have this is just plug in some random ass point and see where the y is supposed to be. What I mean by that is let's just assume that x is equal to, I don't know, let's say 2, right? Because then negative 2 to the 2 power minus 1, PEMDAS, follow the fucking order of operation. Gotta do the exponent first. So that'll be negative 4 minus 1, so that'll be negative 5. What does that mean? It means 2 and negative 5 should be on your graph, whatever the hell the right graph is. Let's start from the bottom. 2 and negative 5 will be like somewhere like fucking right there. And if you kind of just fucking, you know, continue the graph or something, I don't know, maybe. 2 and negative 5, yeah, maybe. I don't know if you kind of just graph that, maybe. Yeah, that sounds cool too. I don't really know, to be exact. But if you look at B, well, hell no, man, that's fucking positive, but it should be negative, so that's out. And then for A, same thing, that's positive, that's out. So in between C and D, we're stuck again, right? So what are you supposed to do? Just try another point. If you look at C and D, the great news is the difference between the two, well, the y-intercept is different. the choice C has -2 as a y-intercept. Choice D has -1 as a y-intercept. So what we could do is just go back to this shit and try plugging in 0 for the x, because that'll be what the y-intercept is, right? So plug in 0. So then you would get -2 to the 0 power is just 1 minus 1, and that would be -2. So when x is 0, it should be at -2 for the y, and that would be answer choice C right there, where it's -2, not D where it's -1. All right, number 15. Alan drives an average of 100 miles each week. Cool story. His car can travel an average of 25 miles per gallon of gasoline. So we got 100 miles and then 25 miles per gallon. And Alan liked to reduce his weekly expenditure of gasoline by $5. Okay. Assuming gasoline costs $4 per gallon. Okay, so $4 per gallon. Which equation can Alan use to determine how many fewer average miles he should drive each week? Okay, so first of all, he wants to reduce that by $5, right? So right now, he's driving 100 miles each week. So let's figure out how many gallons he's using. So right now, he's 100 miles. He's driving 100 miles, but 25 miles per gallon. I'm putting the miles in the bottom, so that will cancel. And that gives you 4 gallons right now. Well, given that it's $4 per gallon, so you bring that shit over here, $4 per gallon, and if you multiply that shit, gallons cancel, so he's spending $16 right now. So what do we want? We want to reduce that shit by $5. Okay, so $5, if you subtract that off from here, then now that would be $11 that he should be spending. So you really don't have to do this at this point, because all you got to do is this. He needs to save that $5. The question is, well, how many miles would that be, right? So how many fewer average miles? You can just take that $5 and then be like, well, it's going to be $4 per gallon, right? So that would be, if you just cancel that shit, the dollars cancel, so that'll be 5/4 of a gallon that he should drive, or he should use less. Right? So just grab that 5/4 of a gallon and convert that into however many miles. So we have 25 miles per gallon. So what we can say is, well, 1 gallon is 25 miles, right? So if you just cancel the gallons, then there you have it. I'm going to have, well, 125 over 4 miles, and that is the number of miles that he should drive less, right? So now that we have the M value, you just got to plug it into one of these answer choices to see whichever one works, right? So let me now go ahead and just get rid of these and then try this number, and I'm going to start from the bottom, choice D. So 4 over 25 times M, which is what we got, 125 over 4, and that's equal to 5. Is it? Cancel the 4s. And yeah, 25, well, 125, that's 5, because 5/4 is $1.25. So 5 is equal to 5, that works. So there it is. D's got to be the right answer. So the question seems difficult, but all you got to do is just fucking follow after the units and make sure you're working with the right units. All right, number 16. Maria plans to rent a Cool Story Bro. The boat rental costs $60 per hour, and then she'll also have to pay for the water safety course. That's $10. Okay, Maria wants to spend no more than $280. Stop it. So $280 or less, and what you got is $60 per hour. So H many hours, and then the $10. If the boat rental is available for only a whole number of hours, so what is the maximum number of hours? Okay, so first of all, subtract 10 on both sides. So you get 60H is less than or equal to 270. Cancel the freaking zeros and then divide by 6. The point is H is less than or equal to. If you want to do this, if you want to do this, like, you can go ahead and do that, and that'll be a 4.5. But for me, I was just like, okay, 27 divided by 6, well, it's going to be a little more than a 4. Definitely not 5, because, you know, I mean, you should be able to easily do that. It's going to be a 4.5. But even if you didn't see that, 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 5 is 30. So 27 is in between that. So it's going to be 4 point fucking something. The point is, she can only rent it for the whole number of hours. So if it's got to be less than 4.5, the maximum you could do is going to be 4 hours. It really doesn't matter. I mean, it could have been fucking 4.792, 4.918. I don't fucking care. It's going to be 4, because you got to be less than that, right? All right, number 17. What value of P is the solution to the equation above? Okay, so just distribute that shit. So you get 2P plus 2 plus 8P minus 8 is equal to 5P. So that'll be 10P minus 6 is equal to 5P. Subtract 10P on both sides. So that'll be negative 6 is equal to negative 5P. Divide by negative 5s on both sides. So cancel the negatives. That'll be 6 over 5 or 1.2. But I recommend keeping it in fraction. Number 18, systems of equation. What is the value of x? So I want the x. So what I'll do is y is equal to 2x. I'll just put that shit right there in the place of y. So 2x right there. So that'll be 1/2. 4x is equal to 21 over 2. So cancel that shit. 2x is equal to 21 over 2. Go ahead and multiply by 1/2 to cancel that 2's. And that will be x is equal to 21 over 4. Easy. Or 5.25. But once again, I recommend putting it in fraction. Number 19, expression, that shit apparently is equivalent to a over x plus 2 squared, where a is positive constant. What is the value of a? So first of all, you can do whichever way you would like, but I'll multiply the whole goddamn thing by x plus 2 squared because I fucking hate fractions. That will cancel that shit, so that'll just be 2x plus 6. And then minus that will cancel one of the x plus 2. So that'll be 2 times x plus 2. And then I'll just put more parentheses here. And then that's equal to, cancel that shit, and that'll just be a. So 2x plus 6 minus, when you distribute that shit, that'll be 2x plus 4, and that's equal to a. So if you just work this thing out, that would be 2x plus 6 minus 2x minus 4, and that's equal to a. 2x and minus 2x cancel. 6 minus 4, that's a 2, so a must be a 2. All right, number 20, intersecting lines R, S, and T below. So what is the value of x? Oh, first of all, well, you notice that that's 106. It's got to be a supplementary 180 fucking degrees. So 74 degrees right there. And then if you guys notice, that thing is a triangle, which should add up to 180. So 180 minus the 74 and 23 together. So that'll be 97. And that would give you 83. So 83 right there. So x better be 180 minus the 83, which is what basically I did over here. So that should be 97. All right, so that's the end of section 3. Let's go. Section 4. Here we go. According to the line graph above, between which consecutive years was there the greatest change? So either really big jump up or down, right? And if you guys look at it, I mean, that's the biggest jump that you see, and that's between 2010 and 2011. Number 2, sum of the values. Which of the following defines f? Let's just find the slope. The rise is plus 8. The run is plus 2. So 8 over 2. The slope better be a 4, and only C's got that. Number 3, to make a bakery signature, whatever, 2.5 ounces of chocolate muffin. How many pounds to make 48 signature chocolate muffins? So each muffin's got 2.5 ounces. So if you got 48 muffins, so go ahead and multiply that shit by 2.5 because each needs that 2.5. And when you do that, you get 120 ounces. Well, that is not in pounds yet. So just grab that 120 ounces and use the conversion they gave you. 16 ounce is 1 pound. So if you just divide that by 16, then you are going to get 7.5. Answer choice A. Number 4, if that's true, what is C plus D? Man, fucking just divide by 3's on both sides, and C plus D is just 5 over 3. Number 5, the weight of an object on Venus is approximately 9/10 of its weight on Earth. Okay, so weight of an object Jupiter is 23 over 10 of its weight on Earth. Okay, cool story. If an object weighs 100 pounds on Earth, approximately how many more pounds does it weigh on Jupiter versus the Venus? Okay, so first of all, if it's 100 pounds on Earth, let's figure out the Venus first. So what should we do? Grab that 100 and multiply by 9/10 of it, because that's what they said, right? Approximately 9/10 of the Earth on weight. It's weight on Earth. Fuck. The cancel the 10, so that'll be 90 on Venus. And then let's do the Jupiter. That'll be, grab the 100 and multiply by 23 over 10. So cancel one of the zeros, so that'll be 230. So 90 versus 230, the difference is 140. All right, number 6. An online bookstore sells novels and magazines. Each novel sells for $4, magazines for $1. Okay, so if Sadie purchased a total of 11 novels and magazines, cut. So N plus M's equal to 11. That have a combined selling price of $20. So that'll be 4N plus 1M is equal to 20, because basically saying $4 for each of the novel and $1 for each of the magazine, and together should be $20 in total. So how many novels? So we want the N. Let's try to cancel the M. I'll grab the top one and multiply by -1. So then that'll be negative n minus m is equal to negative 11. When you just add these two, then that cancels. 3n is equal to 9, so n is equal to 3. Next, number 7, the downtown business, whatever, man, whatever. So increase the membership by a total of n business per year. There will be businesses in the DBA at the beginning of this year. Stop. So we had B to begin with, and then we keep adding N, and then N, and then N, and another N, and just keep going, right? So if you just summarize this shit into probably a linear equation, how do you know that? Because linear is where you keep adding the same shit. If it's exponential, you keep multiplying the same shit, right? So that'll just be B plus NX, and that basically matches answer choice A. You'll get rid of C and D immediately because they're fucking exponential. Once again, you're adding the same number of business every year, so it's got to be linear, freaking constant increase. And then also another thing about B is that it's got a fucking negative y-intercept, which doesn't make any sense because how the fuck do you start with negative fucking number of businesses? That doesn't make any sense, which is probably why the answer choice must be A. All right, number 8, which of the following is an equivalent form of that shit? Okay, so you kind of have to like foil this whole thing out. The only problem is I'm too lazy to do that. So what I'll do is this. I'll fucking just ignore everything, and I'll just look at the very, very last term. What I mean by that is when I foil that shit, well, when you foil this, 1.5x minus 2.4 and then 1.5x minus 2.4, well, there's going to be a lot of values, but I'm only going to worry about these two. So when you foil, like you would do, what does foil fucking even stand for? F, the first, outer, inner, and then last, I think. Yeah, but what I mean is I'm just only going to do the very last. And then when you do that, that'll be plus 5.76. And then same thing. I'm going to do the same thing over here. So actually, there's no fucking foil, so that's cool. All right, so what I got is when I foil that, that'll be whatever plus 5.76. I don't really give a shit about what this is. And then minus, I get, and when you distribute the negative, that'll be 5.2x squared. And then that'll be plus 6.4 because negative, that'll become positive. So basically, you just grab that 5.76 and just fucking add the 6.4. And when you do that, it's probably going to be something about like 12, whatever. It's going to be exactly 12.16. And if you look at the answer choices, only one of them has that, which is choice C. So you really don't need to do all the fucking work because that'll be a nightmare. For me, I just like to do the least amount of work possible to still get the fucking right answer. So that's why I just chose to do this way. I mean, if you're one of those really good students from your algebra class and shit, and you actually want to like do the whole fucking thing out, I mean, that's up to you, but I wouldn't do that. This is a time test, so, how fast you can do it really matters, right? Number 9, in the 1908 Olympic Games, the Olympic marathon was lengthened from 40 kilo to 42 kilo. Cool story, bro. If the following, which is closer to increase in the distance of Olympic, well, it went up by 2 kilo. They just wanted in miles. So fucking just use that 1 mile is approximately 1.6 kilometers they gave you. So 1.6 kilometer is 1 mile. Once again, why did I write it like that? Because if you look at it, the kilometers can cancel the top and bottom, which is why I put the kilometers on the bottom. And when you just fucking punch it into your calculator, you're going to get 1.25. Number 10, the density of an object is found by dividing the m by the volume. You should really know that shit. Did you guys know that density is equal to fucking broken heart? Kind of see that it's like a fucking broken heart, but then it's fucking, the M, and then the bottom is V. I feel like it was my chemistry teacher from fucking high school or something. She told me about this, and I never forget that shit. But the point is, the College Board is not gonna, assume that I know what a fucking density is, so they'll always give me that equation if I need it. This is just purely math section. They're not gonna ask you for any outside knowledge, especially dealing with something science like physics shit or anything like that. So yeah, so density is dividing the mass by the volume. They gave it to you. So basically, if you look at the answer choices, you just want m is equal to something, just multiply by v on both sides, and there you have it. M is equal to vd, and that's answer choice A. D, V, V, D, fucking same thing, right? 2 times 3, 6. 3 times 2, 6, same thing, right? Number 11, in the xy plane, which of the following is perpendicular, meaning the slope is negative reciprocal. So if you look at it, well, first of all, I'm going to add 2x on both sides. and that will give me 3y is equal to 2x plus 6. Divide by 3's on all of it to put it in that nice little y is equal to x plus b form, and you get y is equal to 2/3 x plus 2. What I only care about is just this right here, the slope. Well, that is the slope of the expression given, so my new line that is apparently perpendicular must have a slope of -3/2, negative reciprocal slope, right? So let me just go ahead and dive in and start from the bottom to see which one's going to give me a slope of -3/2. So let's go. Subtract 2x on both sides, so you get 6y is equal to -2x plus 3. Divide by 6 on both sides. The point is, you're going to get -1/3 as a slope, which is absolutely not true. And then I'm going to try that one. Subtract 2x on both sides, you get 4y is equal to -2x plus 6. Divide by 4's on both sides. The point is, I get -1/2 as a slope. That's wrong too. Try that. Subtract 3x on both sides, and you get 4y is equal to -3x plus 6. Divide by 4's on both sides. The point is, you get -3/4 as a slope. That's a no-no. So it better be a. God damn it, I wasn't very lucky this time, but who cares, right? It's okay. It didn't take me that long. Last one, this one, if you subtract 3x on both sides, then you get 2y is equal to -3x plus 6. Divide by 2's on all of it, and you do see that right there, the slope of -3/2, what we wanted, it is right there, if you can see that. That's why answer choice A is correct. Number 12, the system equation has solution xy. What is the value of x? So you see that 1/2 y is equal to 4, right? So you can just fucking replace that shit over there. So that'll just be, if you look at it, x minus 1/2 y, which is 4, and that's equal to 2. So just add fucking 4 on both sides, and there you have it, x is equal to 6. Easy. Number 13, so which of the following order pairs satisfy the system inequalities above? So this is one of those questions that people fucking hate to do because, oh, like, I wish it was an equal sign because that would be pretty easy, but it's just fucking inequalities. Then what do? Man, fucking plug it back in. Just grab the choices and try the choices, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't want to solve it, you can just plug the points in to see if it's going to hold true. What I mean by that is, let's try, let's just hypothetically say the choice D were to be correct. Then what you would do is plug in 2 for the x and plug in -1 for the y into those inequalities to see if they're going to be true. First of all, the first one, that'll be -1 is less than or equal to 6 plus 1. So -1 is less than or equal to 7. That is absolutely true. And try the second one. That'll be 2 minus -1 is greater than 1. So 2 plus 1 is greater than 1. 3 is greater than 1. That is absolutely true. So that works. Both of them works, right? The 2 and -1, that point works for both of the inequalities. Fucking circle it and move on. The other one's not going to work. You don't even need to check it. Number 14. In a survey, 607 general, but it's all fucking in there. So whatever, don't read that. If one of the surgeons is selected at random, stop it. So it's not like we have to pick from like the teaching or orthopedic. Like we're just picking a surgeon. So one of the surgeons is selected at random. So we can go ahead and pick out of the 607. Which of the following code probability that the selected surgeon is an orthopedic surgeon? Whose indicated professional activity is research. So that's 74 in the freaking overlapping region. So 74 divided by 607. Just punch it into your calculator and it'll give you 0.12191104, which is 0.122. Next, number 15. The polling agency survey 1,000 adults. Selected at random. Large city answer the following question. Are you satisfied with the quality of the air in the city? Okay, of the survey, 78% said they are satisfied. Based on the survey, which of the following statements must be true, right? 1, of all those adults in the survey, 78% are satisfied. I don't fucking know. That's not true. Well, it could be true, but it doesn't have to be true. They only fucking survey 1,000 adults. I mean, imagine how many adults live in the fucking city, right? It's not a guarantee that just because out of the 1,000 people, 78% said they are satisfied doesn't necessarily mean the whole entire fucking city's population, take 78% of them, they're going to say that they're satisfied. It's not true. Once again, it can be true, but the question is which of the following must be true. It doesn't have to be true. Remember number 2, if another 1,000 adults selected at random or surveyed, 78% would report that they're satisfied. I don't fucking know. Once again, God knows what the next 1,000 people are going to say. I don't fucking know. I have no idea. It doesn't have to be true. It could be true, just doesn't have to be true. Remember number 3, if 1,000 adults selected at random from a different city or survey, 78% would report that they're satisfied. Yeah, that's a fucking absolute no-no, right? Different city, God knows what they're going to say. I don't fucking know. So none of that has to be true. I mean, they all could potentially be true. They just don't have to be true. All right, so 16 through 18's got to do with this table. I'm too lazy to read this shit, but it does say something about like multiply. So let me just read that part. One method of calculating the approximate age of a tree is to multiply the diameter by a constant called the growth factor. Okay, hold on. Let me just write that shit. Age is equal to diameter times the growth factor. Whatever the fuck that means. But these are the growth factors that you're given in the table. So let me just go ahead and jump into the questions. Number 16, according to the information in the table, what is the approximate age of an American elm tree with a diameter of 12 inches? Okay, so age is equal to diameter, which they gave me 12. And then the American elm tree, I go right there. That's a 4 for the growth factor. So just put that 4, and there you have it. 48 fucking easy. Number 17, the scatter plot above gives the tree diameter plot against the 26 trees. The growth factor of the species is close to that of which of the following. So if you think about it, once again, we go back to the freaking equation of age is equal to diameter times the growth factor, right? So if you look at it, they want the growth factor, which is going to be growth factor is equal to age divided by the diameter, if you just divide by d's on both sides, right? So basically what you could do is just grab any of the fucking points and just try dividing. So let me just grab, I don't know, man, shit, that point looks pretty nice because that would be a 90 for the age. So 90 for the age, and then diameter would be like 12, right? So 12. So if you just punch that shit into your calculator, then you'll get something like 7.5. So we're looking for something that has a growth factor of 7.5. And if you look at this table shit, well, that right there, the shagbark hickory, that's got the 7.5. So that's why answer should be D. All right, number 18. If a white birch tree and a pin oak tree each now have a diameter of 1 foot. Okay, hold on. Diameter, it should be in inches. So fuck that. Let me just go ahead and change that 1 foot into a, well, they gave it to you. You should really know that shit, but that would be a 12 inches. Which of the following will be closer to the difference in inches of their diameters 10 years from now? So 10 years from now means they're both 10 years old. So let me just do two different versions. WBT for white birch tree and POT for the pin oak tree. So once again, age is equal to D times a GF. Age is equal to D times a GF. We know they're both 10 years old. And then we know the growth factor, right? We don't know the diameter. Well, whatever the diameter is going to be in 10 years, I don't fucking know. But the growth factor, we do know that. White birch tree, that is a, where is it? It's 5. And then pin oak tree, that's a 3. Okay, so that'll be a 5 and that'll be a 3. Okay, so if you just divide by 5s on both sides over here, then white birch tree, you get 2. And then pin oak tree, just divide by 3s on both sides here, and then you get, that's equal to 3.33. Okay, so what is it? What are they asking? Will be the difference. Yeah, 2 versus 3.33. The difference is 1.33, and that is answer choice C. All right, number 19. ABC above, what is the length of AD? AD is right there, and I want you guys to see that this is a 30, 60, 90 freaking triangle. 30, 60, 90 over there, 30, 60, 90 over there. So if that's a 12, that's a 6, and that's a 6 right 3, according to the freaking front of the packet where they literally give you the fucking 30, 60, 90. So that would be then 6 over here, and then 12 over there, so AD would just be 6. All right, so number 20, figure, blah, 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 rolling, whatever, rolling. The graph for the y's of t on the right could represent which of the following functions. Okay, so as the time goes, whatever the fuck that y is, it starts from up there and then comes down and go up, then comes down and go up. Okay, so what's happening? I don't fucking know. D, the distance of the mark, so I'm starting from the bottom, distance of the mark, so distance of that mark on the rim from the ground. So let's just think about what's going to happen. Because D is the answer, by the way, peeps. In the beginning, it's sitting up there. So the distance is like that big. Okay. And then later, let's just say like it's right there. So distance is about that much. And then when it's like right there, the distance is fucking 0. And then when it's right there, the distance is once again that much. And then when it's all the way up there, then this is now that much. Okay. So if you look at it, it starts from up here and then kind of goes down and then down to 0 and then goes up and then over here it's going to go back up again. That looks exactly like that shit, which is why it's answer choice D. The other ones are all wrong because if you look at C, the distance of the mark rim from the center, man, fucking that's called radius. I don't care where you are. If you look at it from the base of the center, well then it's just freaking the same distance no matter what, right? The distance from the center to the mark never fucking changes no matter how many times it's rolling. So that's not true. The distance, well, so the graph should look something like this. It just doesn't change. The distance of the wheel from its starting point, well, the distance of the wheel from the starting point should only go up, because let's just say, I don't know, you start from over there, and then as time goes, time flies, it just keeps going to the right. So the graph shouldn't go down, up, shit like that. It should just go up, right? So that's a no-no. The speed at which the wheel is rolling, they literally gave you constant fucking rate, so the speed is not going to go up, speed is not going to go down, speed stays the fucking same. So that's not it, so it's got to be choice D. All right, number 21, equation above. A is negative and B is positive. Let me just plug some shit in then. How about A is negative? So I'll just say negative 2. And then B is positive, so I'll just say 2. So which of the following must be true? I don't know. So I get negative 4 over negative 2 is equal to C. So I got C is equal to 2. So like, which of the following must be true? D, it's got to be negative, less than negative 1. Hell no, I just got 2. C is equal to negative 1. Hell no, I just got 2. C is equal to 1. Hell no, I just got 2. But C is greater than 1? Yeah, I got 2. And that's the only thing that fits into the criteria. Number 22. In State X, Mr. Cam's 8th grade class consisting of 26 students was surveyed, and 34.6% reported that they had at least 2 siblings. Okay. All right, whatever. So 26 out of that, 34.6%. At least 2 sips. At least 2 sips. Just kind of mark that shit. The average 8th grade class size in the States is 26. So that is however many students in freaking Mr. Cam's class. If the students in Mr. Cam's class are representative of the students in the 8th grade, and there are 1,800 8th grade classes in the state. Stop it. So how many students would that be? Each class has 26. And there's a total of 1,800 class. So what you would do is 1,800 times 26. And that will give you 46800 students in total. Which of the following best estimate the number of 8th grade students in the state who have fewer than 2 siblings? So if you take a look at it, the ones that had at least 2 siblings were 34.6%. But what we want is fewer than 2 sips. So that should be the rest, which is going to be 65.4% if you subtract that shit from 100. So you would have to take this and multiply by 0.654 in order to figure out the number of students who have fewer than 2 siblings. And if you do that in your calculator, that'll give you 3067.2, which is pretty goddamn close to answer choice C. All right, number 23 and 24. So Townsend Realty, whatever shit. I don't really give a shit, whatever. Okay. And then if you look at it, the relationship between the monthly rental price R, so monthly rental is R, and then the property purchase price is P in thousands of dollars. Okay, so P's got to be in thousands of dollars. Can be represented by a linear function. So linear function. So first of all, let's just grab any of the two the properties and then just figure out the slope. Okay. So first of all, notice y is equal to mx plus b, where slope is rise over run. Well, which is y over x, because rise is fucking y and then run is x, right? In this case, I have r is equal to mp plus b. So slope would be, well, rise over run, which in this case would be r over p, right? So r would be the y, and then the p would be the x. So first of all, let's count the rise. I'll just grab the first two, whatever, man. So that would be a rise of, what is that? Plus 360. And then the run would be, that would be 48000, so 48,000. Okay, the only problem with that is, well, the monthly rental price and then the purchase price is in thousands, so that's in thousands. So when you do rise over run, you will do 360 over 48000. But once again, the question specifically said that P is going to be in thousands. So you can just go ahead and ignore those 3 zeros. And then when you just divide the 360 by 48, you actually get 7.5, which must be the slope. And only choice D's got that slope of 7.5. So you really don't have to do all of that shit. If you didn't want to do these, you can literally just grab one of those properties and just fucking plug in the P and plug in the R into any of these 4 choices to see which equation holds true. The only problem with that is, once again, you do have to remember that when you plug in P, so like for example, for Clearwater Lane, you're looking at 128,000. You want to make sure you're plugging in 128, not 128,000, because they said P's in thousands already. All right, number 24. Townsend Realty Group purchased Glenview Street and property and received a 40% discount off the original price. So Glenview is currently 100. Actually, no, that was the purchase price. So whatever the fuck the actual price it was, they got 40% discount. So you multiply by 0.6 because you're only paying 60%, along with an additional 20% off the discounted price. So the on top of this shit, you got an additional 20%. What a lucky ass bastard. So that would be multiplied by 0.8 because 80% of the original, you're getting that 20% off. And then for purchasing property in cash, okay, so which of the following best approximates the original price? So that box is the original price, I don't fucking know. But after you do all that shit, after you got all those discounts, that was the price, the $140,000 that you see in the table. So all you gotta do is just go ahead and just divide both sides by 0.8 and 0.6 in order to cancel out all that shit. So when you do that, just grab your calculator and just, punch it into your calculator. So when you divide, then you should get to the box is equal to 291,666.667, which is pretty goddamn close to answer choice B. All right, number 25. Oh my goodness, so goddamn long. A psychologist set up an experiment to study. Cool fucking story, bro. In the experiment, 300 people were presented with a set of 5 pictures arranged in random order. Damn. Each person was asked to choose the most appealing picture. Cool story, bro. I fucking didn't need to read that. Of the first 150 participants, 36 chose the first picture in the set. Stop. So there's a 300, and out of that, there's 150. Out of that, 36 chose the first pick. However you want to mark it, but I kind of like the tree diagram way of fucking noting myself, so that's why I do it like that. And then P people chose the first picture in the set among the rest of the room 150. So the other 150, P people chose the first pick. Okay, I don't know what that P is. And then if more than 20% of all participants chose the first pick in the set, stop it. Wait, so if more than 20% of all participants chose the first pick, just take 20% of all participants. All participants was 300 people. So 300 people times 0.2, that's 60. So more than 60 people, aka the 36, the first pick peeps here, and then the P, the first pick peeps here, together better be greater than 60 is basically what you should be looking at. So if you look at the answer choices, only these got that. They were generous enough to not actually, make it do that 0.2 times 300, which is not that bad, but yeah, they just kept that as is. All right, number 26. The surface area of the cube is that one. Well, if you think about a freaking cube, it's got 6 of the same fucking surfaces. What that means is that 6 is probably multiplying by 6 because you have 6 of the same shit. So what that means is the one face's area, that one face, is probably an area of A over 4 square, meaning it's probably by A over 4 by A over 4, right? Because A over 4 times A over 4 will be A over 4 squared. That would be the area of one fucking surface, but cubes got 6 of them. That's probably why they multiply by 6. Where A is positive constant, which of the following gives a perimeter of one face of the cube? I fucking got it, bro. That'll be A over 4, A over 4, A over 4, A over 4. So you have 4 of the A over 4s for the perimeter. Just multiply that shit. That's just A. 27. The mean score of 8 players in a basketball game was 14.5. Stop. It's a mean. It's just the sum divided by the number of shits. So in this case, mean was 14.5 for 8 players. So what you could do is you could just literally go ahead and multiply by 8 on both sides, because then you will get the sum. Whoa, Steven, what do you need that for? I don't fucking know, but it is something I can find. So sum is equal to 116 when you find that. So what do we do now? If the highest individual score is removed, okay, so from the 116, the very grand total, we're going to subtract the best guy's points. And then the mean score of the remaining 7 players becomes 12. Okay, so you take out the best one, and then now we're gonna get the new mean, and we're gonna have to divide by 7 this time because it's no longer 8 people, it's only 7 players because we just took out the best one. And then apparently the mean comes out to be 12. So what was the highest score? Easy stuff. Just go ahead and multiply by 7 on both sides to cancel that shit. And you get 116 minus the box is equal to 84. So just go ahead and subtract 116 on both sides. And when you do that shit, just go ahead and take 84 and minus 116. And that should be negative box is equal to negative 32. So box better equal just 32. So 32 was probably the point that was held by the best player in the team. All right, number 28, the graph linear function. Cool story, bro. The slope of the graph linear g is 4 times the graph of f. Okay, hold on. So right now the f's got a slope of rise 1, run 2, so 1 over 2. That's the slope right now for the f. For the g then, the slope is 4 times. So for g, slope better be 1/2 times 4, which is 2. All right, so if the graph of g passes through the points 0, -4, that's called a y-intercept, so that would be the b. What is the value of g of 9? Easy. I have the equation. Y is equal to, well, I'll call it g of x to be specific. G of x is equal to slope 2 plus x minus 4 because that's what the y-intercept is. And they just want g of 9. So just g of 9 would be 2 times 9 minus 4. 18 minus 4, that would be 14. Answer choice C. Number 29, equation defines a circle. What are the coordinates of the center? You have to complete the squares for this shit. So when you complete that square, that would be x plus, well, let me kind of write it a little better so it's easier to look at. X squared plus 20x, and then plus something, I don't know, and then plus y squared plus 16y plus something, I don't know, and that's equal to -20. Now, we're going to have to complete the squares. Let me do the x's first, right? When you complete that squares, that'll be x plus 10 squared. So that'll be 100 when you fold that shit at the end. And then that would be y plus 8 squared, and so that'll be a 64 when you fold that shit. So you better add the same shit on both sides as well. Add the 64 and add the 100. So when you do all that shit, well, you can get the circle equation. This one you can go ahead and calculate to be 144. The radius would be 12, but was that necessary? Oh, hell no, because all you want is just the center, which is going to be over here and over here. So comparing that to the very original circle equation of this shit, you should notice that it is going to be -10 for the x and -8 for the y coordinates of the center, which is going to be choice B. Number 30, equation above is whatever shit, which of the following is an equivalent form. So if you guys look at the answer choices, I mean, first of all, these not going to be it because that will be x squared plus 2ax plus a squared. The point is there's that middle term, which your thing is clearly missing. So that's not it. If you look at the very last term, that's going to give you an a squared over 4 at the end. That doesn't match the thing up there. If you match that shit, that'll be a squared. That doesn't match the thing up there. And if you multiply that, that does give you a, which indeed is what they have over there. So that's why B is correct. All right, number 31. Horsepower and watts are units of power. Cool story, bro. They're directly proportional such that 5 HP is 3730 W. Cool. How much power in watts is 2 horsepower? So 2 HP is how much? I don't fucking know, but this is a fraction. I mean, proportion. Just put them into fraction, set them equal. I'll call that x. So just cross multiply. 5x is equal to 3730 times 2. Go ahead and divide by 5s on both sides. And please use your calculator for this because who the fuck wants to do all that math in their head, right? So x is equal to 1492 when you do that. Number 32, the painting The Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh is a rectangular shape, height 29 with that. Okay. So reproduction is made where each dimension is a third of the corresponding original dimension. What is a height? Okay, so height is 29, but take a third of it. Yeah, no fuck. What the fuck is this? 29 over 3. That's it. That's literally the answer. Once again, you can put that into a decimal. What would that be? That would be 9.6666667, but I would probably prefer having it in fraction form. Number 33, figure not drawn to scale. Don't believe what you see, but PQ is equal to RS. So PQ x minus 1 is equal to RS, 3x minus 7. Let's fucking solve for the x. So x, subtract x on both sides, add 7 on both sides. So you get 2x is equal to 6, so x is equal to 3. So putting that shit back in, that would give me a 2 over here, a 2 over here, and 3 over there. So what is the length of PS, the whole thing? 2, 3, 2. Add them all together. That's a 7. Number 34, xy plane, 2, 5 lies on the graph of that function. K is, what is the value of K? Man, fucking plug that shit in. 2 is the x, so put that shit right there. 5 is the y, put that shit right there. So 5 is equal to K minus 2 squared, which is 4. So just add 4 on both sides, and there you have it. K is equal to 9. What the fuck is this? So goddamn easy. Number 35, a landscaper is designing a rectangular garden. Cool story, bro. The length of the garden is to be 5 feet longer than the width. Stop. So L is equal to 5 plus the W. Okay. If the area of the garden will be 104 square feet, what will be the length? Okay, so area is length times width. So in this particular case, well, I can go ahead and just replace whichever one for the other. But this is one of those shit that the question's asking for the length. So what I'll do is I'll subtract 5 on both sides and have it W is equal to L minus 5 because I can put that shit over here. So I'll keep the L because that's what the question's asking for. They want the L, so I'm just keeping the L. So L times L minus 5, and apparently the area is 104 when you do that. So what do we get? L squared minus 5L is equal to 104. Subtract over to one side and set it equal to 0, and this shit becomes one of those factoring shits, right? And set that equal to 0. So we're going to go ahead and factor. The only problem is it's a little bit of a funky math, right? But it's okay. Just try some numbers out, right? So 104, if you kind of break that shit down, well, 104, that'll be 2 and 52, and then 2 and 26, and then 2 and 13. So there are some factors of the 104. But what I notice right now is probably that right there, which is going to give me 8. So 8 and 13, yeah, that gives me a difference of that 5 in the middle, so that's probably what it's going to be. So L minus 13 and L plus 8 are going to be the factors. If you can't do that shit fast, I mean, this is section 4. Just fucking punch that shit into your calculator and just find the zeros. And the zeros you're going to get is L is equal to 13, L is equal to negative 8. There's no such thing as fucking negative 8 of a length, so that's L. It's got to be the 13. All right, number 36, point P is the center. What is the value of X? If you take a look at it, well, that's 20 degrees. That's 20 degrees. If you guys can kind of visualize this, if you kind of extend all that shit over there, that arc better be double of that 20 degrees. It's going to be a 40 degrees right there. Same thing. You go all the way over there. If that's a 20 right there, well, let me do different colors. If that's a 20 right there, then that better be double that's a 40 degrees right there. So if you look, that will be 80 degrees. So what do they want? Then what do they want? They want the X. If you notice, then the BC should also be 80 degrees as well. And since X is sitting at the very center, that's going to be equivalent 80 degrees. X is 80. Take some geometry concept, but should kind of make logical sense too. All right, number 37 and 30 has got to do with this. Oh my God, so long. I don't want to read that shit, whatever. 37, one morning, Miss Simon drove directly from her home to workplace. So what is this? Home to freeway entrance, freeway exit to workplace. Oh, okay. So that took 24 minutes for her, okay? What was her average speed in miles per hour during her drive that morning? So first of all, they want miles per hour. So miles per hour. Do we know the miles? Absolutely, because they gave you all the miles, right? So if you just add them all up, because that's the total number of distance, well, total number of miles of distance that she is traveling from her home to her workplace. So if you add them all, then you're going to get 17.4 miles. Just add them all. And then it took 24 minutes. Well, I wanted an hour, so let's just convert that first. 24 minutes. Well, 60 minutes is 1 hour. And if you just kind of cancel that, then that'll be a 0.4 hour. So 0.4 right there. So literally just punch it into your calculator. Don't try to do that in your head. And when you do that, you get 43.5 miles per hour when you divide those two. All right, and lastly, number 38. If Miss Simon starts her drive at 6:30 a.m., she can drive at her average driving, whatever, man. If she starts driving at 7 a.m., the travel time from the freeway entrance to freeway exit increases 33% due to slower traffic, but the travel time for each of the other segments stays the same, does not change. Okay, so hold on. Freeway entrance to freeway exit, that's right there. Okay, so based on the table, how many more minutes does Miss Simon take to arrive at her workplace? Okay, so first of all, I want you to understand that I don't need to give a jack shit about the home to freeway entrance and freeway exit to workplace because that didn't change. So if she's taking more time, in total, that is only solely because of the freaking freeway entrance to freeway exit. So that's all I'm going to care about. So right now, how much time is she spending on that? And then how much more time is she going to be spending, right? So right now, let's figure it out. We have 15.4 miles that she's traveling. And then the speed is 50 miles per hour. Please notice the time is what I want as the ultimate unit. So what I'll do is I will go ahead and flip that shit. So 15.4 miles, keep that as is, but I'll write this as 50 miles on the bottom and hour on the top. And I'm going to multiply these two. And the reason I'm doing it like this is so that you can cancel the miles and it gives you the hours. So I get 0.308 hours when you do that. So technically that would be 15.4 divided by 50. And then they want it in minutes. So let's go ahead and convert that into minutes by multiplying 60. And that would be equivalent to 18.48 minutes. So that's how much she's spending right now. So that's right now. And then when the traffic kicks in, she's spending how much? 33%, increases by 33%. So that's how much more time that she's spending. 33% more. So what do? Just grab that 18.48 and just multiply by 0.33 because that is the extra minutes that she is taking. So if you just do that shit in your calculator, the calculator will give you 6.0984. And the question tells you to round to the nearest minute. So that would just be 6 minutes. And that is the end of section 4. And therefore the whole fucking test of this SAT College Board Practice Test number 5.